Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Tales from the Tackle Zone, Season 2. This series is dedicated to Blood Bowl battle reports, and this is battle report number 22. It is a game taking place in the fourth round of the New World Conference that is fought between both Necromantic Horrors as well as Skaven. And this one, my little sister, the kiddo, will be playing the Skavenblight Scramblers, her Skaven team, which has actually been doing very well this actual tournament, actually been tearing it up inside the league, versus my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers as well as the Skavenblight Scramblers will be throwing it down in this particular battle report as well. So with that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we'll show you videos and rosters for both teams. If you want to see exactly what they're bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your leisure. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the pregame so far. So just to give you guys an idea about the records right now, my little sister, the kiddo, as well as her team, the Skavenblight Scramblers, they've actually have a record of 2 victories as well as 1 defeat, and currently they have a fan factor of 5 in this game. My team, however, has had a record of 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw up to this point as well, and at the same time I have a fan factor of 5 in this game as well. So we're both pretty excited to see exactly how both of our teams will perform on this one. So as you can see on this one, I actually lost the coin toss in this one, so I'll be receiving in the first half of the game. So because we go directly to the kickoff, the ball scatters all the way over here in the back top here, the white field, and the kickoff event was brilliant coaching. So both the kiddo and I both rolled a d6 and added our assistant coach value. So we don't have any assistant coaches on either side, so it was whoever had the highest d6, and the kiddo won that one. So because of that, she will have 4 rerolls in this drive as well. Normally she has 3, but she'll have the bonus one as well. At the same time, my team also has 3 rerolls as well. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1. We'll be back after my activations. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 from my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and this is after the very first turn of activations. So as you can see here, I decided just to kind of go full-blown blitz directly into the line of scrimmage as well. And as you can see, I pretty much dominated for the most part, pushing back most of the linemen as well. But probably the most dramatic effect took place with player number 14, Conrad Volek, one of my flesh golems, managed to throw a power result with a blitz action directly into Scalpific the Rat Ogre and managed to put a knockout result on him. So because he will be currently out of the game right now until, of course, he makes a 4-up on his reroll, or a 4-up on his witch check, as if he comes back at the end of the drive. Meanwhile, for the rest of my team activations, I moved up both of my werewolves as well as my ghouls up directly to this top of the line of this top of the white zone here. While my other ghoul, Normandy Acqui, actually managed to go pick up the ball successfully, runs back their maximum allowance. What I'm going to try to do is try to skirt around the outside of this wide zone and try and make it directly to the end zone. Have my werewolves move in to take out the blitzers as well as the throwers that stand in the way. And then maybe have my backup ghoul be used as another passing option, kind of keeping my options open for my first turn. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 1 for my little sister, the kiddo. So we are back now at bottom of turn number 1 for my little sister, the kiddo. As you can see on the table, not much is really happening for the most part. She does manage to push a couple of people back on the on the line of scrimmage for the most part. But probably the most impressive thing, of course, she took her thrower as well as her 2 gutter runners, have them peel off directly from the backfield over here and move them directly to this wide zone, or to run interference in this area here to try to intercept anybody that's trying to go in and through. At the same time, one of her blitzers moves up and actually pulls a blitz directly onto my werewolf into the match to knock him over as well. Unfortunately, though, Marduk the Insane, which is one of the Skaven linemen, did try to throw a block toward my zombies, but got a player down result because of that. So because of that action, it caused immediate turnover, and that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So we'll be right back after my turn 2 activations. Now we're back at the top of turn number 2 for my team of the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and as you can see, some dramatic things have taken place on the tabletop so far. So let's talk about what ended up happening. So first of all, my ghoul, what ended up happening is that over here on the top, I sent my zombies up forward or do a couple of block actions or to push a couple of the linemen out of the way directly this way. And what this did, it kind of created this opening right here in the center of the line. So instead of going up to the top to where the gutter runners were, I decided to run my ghouls down this way instead. So what ended up happening is I started leading with player number 4, Necromantic Horrors, which is one of my ghouls, player number 4. He actually ran all the way around and actually slipped through. And then my next ghoul player, player number 3, Isidore von Drakenfeld. He moves up his maximum allowance and does a short pass directly to Necromantic Horrors. She managed to catch the ball no problem, so because of that I was able to score a star player point for Isidore von Drakenfeld. Now, what ended up happening, though, is up here in the blocks, though, down over here on this side, I decided to throw some blocks, but I got both player down results, which would have been really bad for me. So I did burn up one of my rerolls in order to make sure I ignored that one. And I managed to open up some more of the hole down here so that way these players could not reach my ghoul player as easily. And then I had Emmett the Man, my werewolf. He actually moves directly around the line of the scrimmage, goes to the same gap as well, and moves up over here to hit the thrower, Plague Ghoul the Infected. Managed to go for a one-time order to throw the blitz, and I got both player down. And since I already burned up one reroll, I couldn't use it again, so they both go crashing to the ground. They're both perfectly fine because no one's armor has been penetrated, and that pretty much caused immediate turnover for my team. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for my little sister, the Kiddo. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for my little sister, the Kiddo. And as you can see, some pretty crazy things have taken place over here for the most part. So let's talk about what ended up happening. So first of all, the Kiddo did manage to get a couple of her players back on her feet again. But probably the most impressive thing that took place, however, was the blitz action that was done by Skavenblight, which is this white, pale-looking gun run over here. What he basically did is he ran a blitz action all the way across the backfield here, smashing directly into Necromantic Horrors, which is my ghoul character, and managed to get a power result, which means he fell back, and the ball then landed over the square up here in the top. Now, Plague Ghoul the Infected, of course, got back on his feet, lost 3 squares of movement, but it didn't matter though because he was able to maneuver his way around to pick up the ball, and he did try to throw the ball directly towards Toxiad, which is the gun runner over here on the top, which is the Blackford Toxiad. However, though, he's right next to my werewolf, Urban Draco. So when he tries to throw the ball, unfortunately for my opponent, Urban Draco managed to get an interception and managed to pass that beautifully, rolled a perfect 6 on that one. So because of my werewolf was now in possession of the ball, he also earned himself 2 star player points and also causes a immediate turnover as well. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So we're back for the top of turn number 3 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and as you can see, some more dramatic things have taken place over on the end zone. So first of all, I move a couple of my players and do a couple of actions in order to push down some more Skaven players down directly towards the bottom Y field, widening this gap right here in the middle. At the same time, moving a couple of my players up here in order to mark some other players. That way that the Skaven will have a hard time trying to go after my werewolves. Now from there, I had Urban Draco move directly his maximum movement allowance through this gap right here in the center, making his way to the end zone. He does have the sprint skill, so because of that, he can move 3 extra inches, 3 extra squares if he decides to rush it 3 times, and I decided to do that, putting him within 3 squares again to the end zone. And then I had Emmett the Mad stand up. He does lose a couple of squares of movement because he gets back on his feet again, passes agility test the move, and he goes over down here in order to cover him. And he also passed a couple of rushing tests in order to do so as well. So just that way, I have a kind of like a nice little marking of players taking place or to protect them. The only one I really have to worry about, however, is this thrower, as well as these 2 gutter runners. I do have to worry about those guys, so hopefully I can survive this next turn and manage to score a touchdown. So with that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 3 for my little sister, the Kiddo. Alright, so now we're back for the bottom of turn number 3 for my sister, the Kiddo. And as you can see, she pretty much dominated this round, which is absolutely fantastic. First of all, Plague Ghoul the Infected, the thrower, does a blitz action all the way from the wide zone and smash into Urban Draco, knocking him down with a power result and also putting a stun result on him. That's why he's laying down face down in the dirt right now, bleeding out. Now, it did cause the ball to bounce directly above, and so because of that, Emmett the Man was able to catch the ball, so he's currently in possession of it. But as you can see, my little sister actually swarmed over the player she could, passing agility tests in order to come around and swarm around Emmett the Man, so that way he's got some gun runners and some other people in front of him, so that way he can't escape. So that part is going to be very difficult for me to deal with. At the same time, she also managed to push back a couple players away to kind of isolate Emmett the Man from any support. But probably one of the most important things, one of our linemen threw a block directly into team captain, player number 1, Voldemort, which is my zombie, breaks through his armor and also puts a knockout result on him as well. So he's currently seeing stars and Tweety birds as he is currently recovering. And that pretty much makes up turn number 3 for my little sister, the Kiddo. So that being said, we're going back with top of turn number 4 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. top of turn number 4, and touchdown number 1 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So let's talk about exactly what ended up happening. So first of all, both of my flesh golems actually had a big part to play in this. First of all, play number 13, Grimaldus von Stahl actually moves over to mark this player, but the big play though was my play number 14, Conrad Volek does a blitz action directly into this Gunrunner, managed to knock him out of the way. What that did is, of course, it freed up this back path for my werewolf to take. So Emmett the Mad actually passed initiative test, got into the square, went all the way around and ran it directly to the end zone, going for it once with a rush to make it directly to the end zone, and it managed to score a touchdown for my team and earning him 3-star player points. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 4. We'll be right back after we rack for kickoff. Alright, so now we're back with kickoff on this one. As you can see, we have now racked up both of our teams. My team being on the defensive end right over here, and as of course, my little sister, the kiddo, actually took up an offensive position with blitzers as well as gutter runners on the flank, and she also has her right over here in the center to do some blitzing actions. Meanwhile, I kind of go for like this kind of column defense, spread defense, a little bit like a chevron defense. That way I can actually have screeners to intercept any Skaven that managed to break through to my main line. So when the ball bounced, of course, the ball scattered over here in this position right over here, and this one came out with brilliant coaching once again. And just like last time, the kiddo won the roll-off on that one. So she now has 4 rerolls for this drive, while I only have 2 left for the half. So that part is kind of insane. So with that being said, now we go directly to the bottom of the turn number 4 for my little sister, the kiddo, and be right back after her activations. Alright, so that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 4, and as you can see, the kiddo has managed to puncture my main lines. As you can see right over here, she basically just sends Scalp over here in order to cause some problems in order to create an opening over here. But it ended up happening that she actually managed to push back my line of scrimmage by pushing them back in different directions, as well as knocking out one of my players as well in the knockout box. So that part was kind of rough. From there, she then moves up her gutter runners to go directly to the center, as well as her blitzers to move up into blocking positions or mark some of my players to stop them from going through. Lastly, Plague Rule, the Infected, managed to win by and skip at the ball and falls in right behind this little column of guys running to the center over here, making their way directly to the end zone. And that pretty much makes up her turn for this one. So with turn number 4 over with, you go directly to the top of turn number 5 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Alright, so we're back to the top of turn number 5, and as you can see, not much really happened for the most part. I was able to do a couple of chain pushes down over here with my werewolf, managed to push this gutter around down over here with Urban Draco. The big play took place though with play number 13, my Flesh Golem throwing a block directly into Scalpific and also knocking him out as well. Now originally I rolled both players down, so I did burn up one of my rerolls in order to stop that from happening. So I only got 1 reroll left, but it was enough to actually put him directly with that knockout result, so I'll take what I can get at this point. At the same time, I also move a couple of my players in order to mark some of the kiddo's players as well, and that pretty much makes it my turn for this one. So with turn number 5 over, we go directly to the bottom of the turn for my little sister, the kiddo. Alright, so now we're back from the bottom of turn number 5 for my little sister, the kiddo, and as you can see, some dramatic things have taken place over here for the most part. She managed to slip through real quick with one of her Toxiad. One of her gutter runners ran her directly, his full moon allowance directly through the line of scrimmage, directly towards the end zone, followed by a Plague Rule, the Infected, then threw a pass directly towards the gutter runner, managed to catch it, no problem, so earning that through an additional star player point. Now from there, of course, she does try to move up her second gutter runner, Scythe of Skavenblight, try to make him move over so that way they can give us some additional support. But unfortunately for the kiddo, though, she fails her agility test. She burned up one of her rerolls earlier to make sure that pass went through pretty good. And so because of that, caused immediate turnover, and we go directly to the top of turn number 6 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 6, so let's talk about what ended up happening. So first of all, I was able to do a couple of things. I did a blitz real quick at the man, my werewolf, directly into Toxiad. Managed to put a powers on that guy as well, so the ball bounced over directly to where this square, where Norma de Acqui, my ghoul, is located at. Now because I don't have any blockers blocking me here, Norma de Acqui actually moved up all the way directly over there, managed to pick up the ball, no problem. From there, I was able to take Urban Draco with a couple of attacks from his frenzy, managed to push back this lineman over here, directly over here with this other lineman, knocking directly into that Skaven lineman, knock him back a little bit. At the same time, I managed to push some guys up here in the top as well. I also rolled over Isidore von Drachensfeld as well, so that way he can get back on his feet again later on the turn. And then, of course, I moved up Norma de Acqui up to this location, my ghoul, so that way she can pick up the ball, and that way she can run with it her next turn. And that pretty much makes up turn number 6 for this one. So with turn number 6 over with, we go directly to the bottom of the turn for my little sister, the kiddo. So that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 6 for my little sister, the kiddo. And as you can see right here, she just kind of scrambles most of her people as quick as she can in order to get in the way of my ghoul over here. As you can see, she put a lineman as well as one of her throwers to mark this player, so that way it makes it very difficult for my guy to actually manage to escape. At the same time, she also moves a couple of people over here as well. However, the big mistake though is just trying to remember Blitzer trying to escape the tackle zone of my flesh golem. But unfortunately, she does fail it, so because she goes crashing down to the ground, which caused me a turnover. She ended up burning one of her reroll dice earlier for a blitz action that she managed to do over here, which ended up being a push. So because of that, ended up being not that great for that player. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 7 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Top of turn number 7, as you can see, some things have taken place over here on the pitch. I do move a couple of my guys around in order to get into some Valkyrie positions. I do move Isidore von Drachenfeld directly to the line of scrimmage, so hopefully I can get the ball pass. However, though, disaster does strike. Emmett the Mad managed to push back and do a power result on that gun runner. And I do a blitz action with Draco, Urban Draco, but unfortunately for me, though, when I went to go do my blitz, ended up being both players down. You can't have any more rerolls, so I won't be able to do that. So because they both go crashing to the ground and cause an immediate turnover, which is kind of good for me because hopefully I can run out the clock so my opponent can't get a touchdown in this first half. But we'll find out in the bottom of the turn of turn number 7. So we go directly to the bottom of turn number 7 from my little sister the Kiddo, and touchdown number 1 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So let's talk about what ended up happening first of all. So first of all, my little sister the Kiddo does a block action with one of her linemen, which basically does end up being a push. So the entire group of these guys get pushed over 1 extra square, which means that her Toxiad, which is one of her Skavens, one of her Gunrunners, ends up being inside the end zone. So because of that, she decides to do a blitz action with Scythe of Skavenblight. Scythe of Skavenblight does a blitz action all the way around to smash directly into Norma de Acqui. Managed to get a power result, so because of that, managed to get pushed back again for another block this time. Push all the way directly to the end zone. And then the ball bounces at him because he dropped the ball. It bounces 6 o'clock position. Toxiad manages to catch the ball. And since he's already in the end zone, it automatically counts as well. So just like that, we're now tied 1-1. And since we both only have 1 turn left, we decided to kind of call for the first half. So we'll be back for the second half of the game after we rack and get ready for kickoff. Okay, so now we're back for the second half of the game, and this is after the kickoff. As you can see, we have both lined up both of our teams. My sister the Kiddo, she's kind of going for this heavy flank type of maneuver where she puts most of her runners over in the wide zone as well as 1 flank. At the same time, I'm kind of going for a spread defense as well, or try to intercept her as well. Now, when the ball went for the kickoff, we got timeout on this one, so we both move up forward 1 square in our time. So that part was kind of rough, but the ball scattered all the way across the midfield over here directly on my side of the ball, on my side of the pitch. And that's where the ball pretty much settled for that part. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and my little sister the Kiddo gets to go first. We'll be right back after turn 3 activations. Alright, so now we're back at the top of turn number 3 for my little sister the Kiddo, and as you can see on the pitch, she actually managed to get past my defenses quite easily with that heavy flank deployment. So the first thing she does, of course, is activate her Rat Ogre Scalpific. Now, Scalpific does have Frenzy, which means he actually can throw attacks twice, because it does manage to push back the zombie lineman quite a bit with that power result as well. Now from there, she then follows through with a lineman who does a blitz action directly into Norma de Acqui, which is my ghoul. Managed to get a power result on that guy, and also pushes him down as well. Now what this did is it opened up an avenue of approach right here to the main line of scrimmage using her 2 gut runners. Toxiad managed to go for, sorry, not Toxiad, Skaven of Skavenblight. Scythe of Skavenblight moves through, picks the ball, and then goes for it twice, rushing forward 11 squares. Only 3 squares away from the end zone, followed close behind by Toxiad, as well as one of her ballistas in order to run interference. She then moves a couple of players up here in order to block these guys in the wide zone, and does exactly the same thing to block as well as to check this ghoul here. And she also brings up a throw down over here directly to the end of the wide zone. And that pretty much makes up her turn for turn number 3. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of the turn for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Alright, so now we're back from the bottom of turn number 3, and some very dramatic things have happened over here on the tabletop. So first of all, Emmett the Mad, my werewolf, does a blitz action all the way from the wide zone. smashing directly into Scythe of Skavenblight with a power result, and the ball bounced directly over to the square. Now from there, Urban Draco moves from his area, manages to pass his agility test, swoops around and picks the ball, and also rushes for it twice, going down directly over here as well. I then move a couple of players around in order to get into some blocking positions or to protect him since he's in possession of the ball. But probably the biggest play that took place was Necromantic Horrors, which is actually one of my ghoul players. Necromantic Horrors actually throws a block directly into one of the Skaven linemen. That's player number 10. His name is Bodite of Hellpit. Managed to put a casualty result on him, so because he is currently right now in the casualty box with a lasting injury, which means he'll miss out his next game and also suffer a characteristic reduction because of that blow as well. Now from there, of course, I move a couple more of my players directly into blocking positions so that way they can kind of mark other players, and that pretty much makes it my turn. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 for my little sister, the Kiddo. The turn number 4 for my little sister, the Kiddo. So lots of things happened over here for the most part. What she primarily did was, as you can see, most of her players are actually surrounding Urban Draco, to make sure he can't take the ball directly back across the board to the other infield. So she has him basically surrounded by all of her players, so that way if I try to do anything, I'm going to fail and manage to lose that ball. So that's going to be quite intense to see what ended up happening. However, the most dramatic effect that took place, though, was Scalpific. Scalpific, the Rat Ogre, uses Frenzy Attack to go against player number 8, which is one of my zombies named Johan. Actually managed to push him back a square and then gets a second with a power result, cracks through Johan's armor, and actually rolled a 16 for the casualty, so because of Johan died. However, Johan does have regeneration, so I rolled my d6, I rolled a 5, so Johan goes directly back into the reserves box, because that's how the undead roll, which is all kinds of awesome. So the Kiddo, though, does manage to score another 2 star player points, though, for Rat Ogre, though, so that part was kind of nice as well. So as you can see, my guys over here are completely surrounded. I do have some avenues of approach if I can get rid of the ball and try to run to the end zone, but it is not looking good for my team right now. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom, turn number 4 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So we go directly to the bottom of turn number 4, and some dramatic things have occurred. So first of all, I throw a block with one of my zombies directly into this lineman match and push him back with a power result, which kind of freed up over here for my guy Urban Draco. Now Urban Draco, of course, throws a ball directly towards Isidore von Drakensfeld, my ghoul player, those over here, and I roll a perfect 6. So just like that, the ball managed to fly over. Isidore von Drakensfeld managed to cast the ball and earning a star player point, and also runs it directly towards the end zone over here. Now, because of there's not really much in terms of Skavens in order to try to stop me from getting there, except for maybe this lineman, but hopefully I can make it right past him and make it directly towards the end zone as well. From there, I then move a couple of my players into blocking positions throughout the entire spread, but probably the most dramatic thing that took place was player number 10, Emmett the Mad. He actually throws a block directly into Scythe of Skavenblight. Managed to penetrate his armor using his claws, and I managed to put him out with a serious injury. So because he will miss the rest of this game as well as the next game, as he is seriously injured. So that part was awesome. Also earned myself 2 star player points at exactly the same time. At the same time over here, my Flesh Golems, you managed to push back a couple players over here, and that pretty much makes up the bottom of turn number 4 for this one. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 5 for my little sister Shade. Bottom of turn number 5 for my little sister, the Kiddo. Unfortunately for her, though, her turn didn't do very well. She did try to make this lineman escape from the tackle zones, but unfortunately she rolled a 1, so she wasn't able to do so. So she burned up her very last rerolls in order to try to go again, and she rolls another 1. So because of that, the player does stumble, which causes immediate turnover. So because of it, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 5 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So we go directly to the bottom of turn number 5, and touchdown number 2 for the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. What I managed to do real quick is, of course, activate Isidore von Drakensfeld. He moves directly all the way across the board using his max and movement allowance. He does rush over one more square and passes agility test and goes directly into the end zone, scoring my 2nd touchdown for my team. So now I'm currently leading the game right now at 2-1. So we're going to come right back after our team's re-rack, and we'll be right back for the kickoff. Alright, so now we're back with the kickoff, and once again my sister, the Kiddo, decided to go with a heavy flank type deployment. Unfortunately, it is a little bit light, and the reason was she has 2 players in the casualty box, and when it knocked out, it didn't manage to recover from his knockout. And because of that, for the ball did scout over here, just one square shy of actually crossing the 50-yard line. And for the kickoff event on this one was cheering fans, so the Kiddo and I, of course, roll off to see which of us has the higher event mount. The Kiddo does win, but she rolls moles under the pitch, which means they may all suffer -1 to our rolls for trying to do rushes for this rest of this drive, which is bad for the Kiddo because the Kiddo needs all the help she can get or get that ball across the end zone, wide zone, directly to the end zone, so that way she can tie up the game at this point. So because of that, not really great for her. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we go directly to the top of turn number 6 for my little sister, the kiddo. We'll talk about exactly what her activations look like here in a sec. So we go directly to the top of turn number 6 for the kiddo, and unfortunately for her, disaster does strike. So first of all, Plague World the Infected does move up his max moon allowance and does manage to secure the ball. The problem though is that she took one of her blitzers and tries moving around the back line of the line of scrimmage in order to end up over here to defend Toxia the Infected. Oh, sorry, Plague World the Infected. There we go, that's his name. Unfortunate for her though, when she does rush, she rolls a 1, and so because she can't use up any rerolls because all the rerolls are burned up for this turn, the player stumbles and of course causes immediate turnover. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 6 from my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So we're back for the bottom of turn number 6, and some dramatic things have taken place over here in the bottom of the table. So first of all, I throw a blitz real quick with my Flesh Ghoul directly into Plague World the Infected. The ball does bounce over to this bottom square, and then from there I have Norbert Acqui move in and actually sweep through, pick up the ball, and move up their max moon allowance. From there, I then managed to move a couple of my zombies and my werewolves to get into blocking positions over here to protect my ghoul runner. And at the same time, I try to do exactly the same thing up here, but unfortunately, I failed my agility test, and since I don't have any more rerolls because I burned them up for the second half, pretty much ends the turn with a turnover. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 7 for my little sister, the kiddo. Alright, so we go directly to the top of turn number 7, so let's talk about what ended up happening. So most of the time, my little sister, the kiddo, did send most of her players as much as he could directly towards the backfield in order to try to intercept my ghoul from making it directly to the end zone. At the same time, she did manage to attack with Scalpific, managed to push directly some people playing at the top, but what ended up happening is that this blitzer, though, tried to take an agility test to escape, so that way they can run down over here and try to intercept my ghoul. Unfortunately, that player actually failed his agility test, and since there's no more rerolls for my little sister, it immediately caused a turnover. So because of it, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 7 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Alright, so that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 7 for my team, and touchdown number 3 for the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Basically what I did is I took Norma Acqui, my ghoul runner, who is equipped with the ball already. She went her max on moon allowance directly towards the end zone. I did have to rush for it twice, but I rolled a 5 and a 6 for my rush, so just like that, she goes directly to the end zone and scores my 3rd touchdown for my team. So with that being said, at this point, the kiddo decides to kind of call it quits at this point, just because she only has one more turn left in the game, and she knows she can't get a touchdown on that one. So that ends this game a little prematurely, but it ends up being 3-1 in favor for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the after action report, because this battle report is now over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past. Could have even been king. But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Alright, so now it's time for the after action report. This is the part of the battle report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is the after action report for battle report number 22. It is game 11 for the New World Conference of Tales from the Tackle Zone Season 2, and this one ended up being a victory for yours truly. So let's go and talk about my little sister, the kiddo, and her team, the Skavenblight Scramblers. So for injuries, she suffered 2 injuries in this game. Lineman player number 10, Bodai of Hellpit, suffered a head injury, so he loses 1 point to his armor value for the rest of the campaign, and he will also miss his next game as he is currently in recovery. Same thing with Gutter Runner number 11, Scythe of Skavenblight, will also miss their next game because they're also in recovery as well. Now for advancements, no member of this team did advance at this time. However, Thrower player number 1, Plague World the Infected, did become the MVP for this game, so they earned 4 star player points. Now for dedicated fans, there is no change in their fan dedication, so the kiddo still has 3 dedicated fans. But her winnings, however, though, she managed to score 60,000 gold pieces, and with those 60,000 gold pieces she put directly into the treasury. She didn't recruit anybody at this time, nor purchase any inducements, and for her league points, she scored 0 league points for losing the game, making her total league point value at 10 points in total. Her new record now is at 2 wins and 2 losses, and her team value is still at 1,135 points. Now for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. For my injuries, zombie player number 8, Johann, originally died on the battlefield being killed by Scalpific the Red Ogre, but due to the regeneration special rule, I rolled a 5 on that one, so because he comes back from the dead, and he is back on my team. Now for advancements, 4 members of my team did advance, starting off with zombie player number 6. Zombie player number 6 name is Luthor. He rolled the block skill and managed to increase his value by 10,000 gold pieces. Ghoul player number 3, Isidore von Drachenfeld, also leveled up as well and chose the block skill, increasing his value by 20,000 gold pieces. And exact same thing happened for Ghoul player number 4, Numbered Acqui. She also chose the block skill and increased her value by 20,000 gold pieces as well. Finally, Werewolf player number 10, Emmett the Mad, chose the block skill too and also increased his value by 20,000 gold pieces as well. Now for my dedicated fan base, I did increase my dedicated fans by 1, so now I have 3 dedicated fans in total. For my winnings, I was able to score up 80,000 gold pieces, and when combined with the 75,000 gold pieces in my treasury, and with a grand total of 155,000 gold pieces. With those 155,000 gold pieces, I spent 90,000 gold pieces to recruit Wraith player number 11. His name is Flugviner of Orange. He's one of my Wraiths that I now have on my team, and I took the remaining 65,000 gold pieces and placed it into my treasury. Now for inducements, I didn't purchase any inducements at this time, and for my league points, I earned 1 additional league point for scoring 3 or more touchdowns in a game. I also scored another 3 league points for winning the game, bringing my grand total to 11 league points in total. My new record now is at 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, and my new team value now is at 1,290 points. So that's good for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blog.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next game. Peace out and stay classy.